Good afternoon and welcome to Titan Talk. Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. You got myself, Lieutenant Coop, our wonderful local talent, Cap McFarland.
Hello.
And we have a special guest with us. We're doing another Meet the Supervisor. And we have our wonderful Sergeant Patton with us today.
Sergeant Patton.
Still not used to that.
So we're going to do something similar to what we did with Lieutenant Shaughnessy. We're going to have him on and we're going to ask him some questions and kind of just do a little interview so everybody kind of gets to know him. And just put him out there. He's the guy who usually answers the lieutenant phone during the day for us and helps us out a metric ton, with some of the day-to-day tasks. And
he's phenomenal.
Phenomenal. And we just wanted to get him out there and make sure everybody knew who he was. So, Sergeant, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
How long have you been here?
Been going on 3 years now, 2 years and some change.
Holy smokes, really?
It'll be 3 years in October.
Really? So tell us about your journey. Tell us about your journey so far. What did you start at?
Started out as everybody else, working the grocery stores, hanging out at Ball's Food, just doing the job. And
how long before you moved up from the grocery stores?
it's about 4 months. As soon as
Hold the microphone a little closer to you for me.
that better.
Yeah, we don't want to have another Voss incident.
Yeah, it was about 4 months after I got in. I got called from Lieutenant Ortiz asking me if I wanted to join patrol. I asked if it's a pay rate or better hours, and it's like, nope, it's going to be worse on both. But you get to be out and about and actually active and doing stuff. So I'm like, all right, sign me up. I'll do it.
What was... You need me? No. Oh. What was... let's see. I'm trying to think of different questions than what I asked Lieutenant Shaughnessy, but what is the best part about your day now?
Best part of the day, mostly going home. I always look forward to that part. No, truly, there's a lot of freedom that you're offered when you're on patrol. And as a supervisor, I like checking up on my guys if and when you guys ever let me out of the office.
Rare.
Very rare.
I don't even get to get out of the cage very much.
New recent thing is I recently got certification on firearms instructor.
Yes, welcome to the club.
I've been helping Tom out with the range a little bit. Some of the Phase 1 guys with the safety aspect and everything. It's just...
You're going to do your first solo gun drills this week, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
this
nervous?
Wednesday. Not really.
It shouldn't be. It's not. That's
routine
pretty rudimentary.
stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty routine.
There's nothing to be nervous about. It's super simple.
What's some advice you have for new guys or guys that are looking to move up, aside from getting the career advancement program and stuff like that?
Just keep doing good work. I mean, all I did was show up and did my job. If I had questions, I called. If I had issues, I called.
Yep.
Write good reports. That's a good way to get noticed.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and I think we touch on it quite a bit. If I see there's somebody displaying good report writing skills, it leads me to believe that they're good critical thinkers, and I can trust them with either more responsibility or more active post, stuff like that. It's just it's a really good indicator or temperature gauge on where that officer's at. Not to say that I haven't had supervisors be awful report writers or future supervisors be awful report writers, and we've worked with them. I'm actually going to work with an officer today to give them this sheet that goes out during orientation about the report basics, the do's and don'ts. Try to stay away from your inner dialogue, and that's what this particular officer is having an issue with, where it's like all the thoughts inside the head are going. And but yeah, so what else is there? What's a challenge you have on a daily basis? Something you think that's difficult?
Really just answering that phone. I'm not a phone guy. I'm not an office body, but over the past, 4, 6, 8 months. How long have I been in here for?
That's what, when you said 3 years, I couldn't believe it.
Your total is 3 years. I think you've been assisting us with the phones.
Probably about a year,
Probably, right? I'd say, 7, 8 months. I don't think it's been a full year yet. But I think it's been...
I feel like it was a summertime last year.
I think you're probably a couple of months off from being a full year audit.
Because you came off overnights, right?
I came off of overnights, and then I went to the ATM route, and then...
Oh, that's right.
I got taken off that to be the patrol supervisor.
Yep. And now you're the patrol sergeant.
Patrol sergeant now, mostly calls that I would get in and be like, Corporal Patton, and they're like, I want to speak to a lieutenant. It's like, well, you got me. What do you want?
How can I help?
Well, we appreciate all your hard work, dude. Hold on just a second.
Something that that kind of goes unthanked and everything is the big role that you play. Back when I was downstairs running the day-to-day stuff, a lot of the time the phone would fall to me, and it made scheduling very difficult and stuff like that. And so when the option came up that Lieutenant Ortiz was like, well, hey, Corporal Patton's starting to move up, and he's probably the next in line for promotion, and the next one I want to look at. We kind of made a group decision. We're like, well, let's give him probably the easiest thing to deal with, but the most consistent, which was the phone itself. We're like, you know what? We'll pass that on to him.
The most annoying.
Yes.
The most consistent, persistent, whichever you want to call it. And you took that with stride. And I think you say one of my favorite lines I've ever
What's
heard.
his phrase? Yeah.
And I will do it.
But I'll complain the entire time.
And it's been the most perfect thing I've ever heard, and it's probably the most truthful thing out there as well.
It's one of the sayings I kind of picked up over the years. Whenever I was active duty, our saying was embrace the suck.
Yes. Yep, that's what you do. And yeah, like he said, when you take on not a promotion, but a transition to a different position like patrol or something, the on-site sometimes will pay more, and your schedule's more locked in, but you essentially just embrace the suck and you deal with the bad parts of it. But then there's, on the flip side, the freedom of, hey, I feel like taking a lunch now instead of, at the designated time I have to at an on-site and stuff. And so you're out interacting with people. And there's just, for me, that's what's always been kind of why I gravitated towards this line of work is it's different every day. So you're not stuck doing the same things, even though I'm kind of turning into that now. I'm more on the political side of things.
I'm pretty sure anytime you take anything above, I would say, a sergeant role, things start to turn into a little less field work, a little more desk duty.
And politics.
And politics behind it. And
take the good with the bad.
Exactly. Yep. There are strong points to the considerations. Like when I moved from lieutenant to being scheduling lieutenant to scheduling manager again, I knew for a fact that I was going to be out of the field. It was going to be a desk job. All the field stuff was probably going to be over with unless there was an emergency that I needed to go for scheduling wise and go do something. But the advantages are that, to me at least, there are more advantages that outweigh that. And so that's always been I think there's the balance there. Is you lose some of it, but there's some other things you pick up that you don't normally get.
Oh, for sure. The political side for me is something I've always wanted to stay away from, but I try to see the good in it too. I go on a lot of client meetings, walkthroughs and stuff, and it usually involves lunch on a company card, so I can't complain too much. Yeah. So, there's silver lining to a lot of that stuff, but I get to do what I enjoy doing, which is coaching people. So that's a big piece of it.
It is very rewarding.
So I was going to say that's something that's new with you is moving into the kind of a trainer aspect where you've got the firearms proficiency. Now you're learning down that path to become an instructor with us as well. Is that something that you've considered long term, where that might be something you want to end up doing, or what's your is that part of the motivation for that?
It's something I wanted to pick up for a while, was getting that type of certification. I find it very rewarding to teach people this hobby, this right that we all have, and how to do it safely.
Sure.
Safety is a big priority of mine.
If you're a crazy good marksman, but you're not safe, and then it's oil and water, they don't mix,
Exactly.
So you lose that privilege, at least as far as caring for a living for us. And so it's the safety thing's big, and like you said, it's really rewarding to teach people, especially some of the guys that come in and they're like, hey, I want to work on armed for like 6 months and then go armed, and we transition them over to that position, and you can tell they've put in some homework, and it just shows that, hey, there's some light bulbs. And then it's something as simple as thumb placement, on a pistol versus, how they're used to. A lot of people have rifle experience, and so, but yeah, it's really cool to see those moments where they're like, oh, that makes sense. It's almost like we know what we're talking about.
Whenever it actually clicks for them,
that's the rewarding part.
Exactly.
It's when everything kind of makes sense and just snap. Well, awesome, dude. Are there anything? Is there something in particular while you're on patrol, or you're doing, you're assisting your guys out there when you're stopping to see an officer? Is there anything in particular you're looking for that would say, hey, this might be the next person for patrol, supervisor, or someone that we might want to keep an eye on? Anything like that you look for in particular?
So going into my trade secret right here, if I'm visiting your post, chances are I've been watching you for quite some time.
Yep.
I'll watch you from a distance, make sure you're being attentive, greeting guests, customers, whomever your post is catered towards. We'll just and having all your gear is another big one. Making sure you look sharp in your uniform.
Yeah, appearance is big.
Appearance is very big because that's mostly what our job is visual deterrence against threats.
Yeah, criminal activity, threat stuff. Yeah, of course. What else? Now that you have a big soapbox and you're on the Titan podcast, is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah, if you're calling the lieutenant phone and you spam call me, I'm not going to call you back. I will, but you're at the bottom of my list. Give me 2 calls, about 5 minutes apart. I will get back to you guys. Come on, please.
Yeah.
That's always been a big thing with that phone is it's consistently ringing. Just sitting here, we have it with us right now, and I think it's gone off 4 times.
Or shoot me a text. I will respond to texts. Not everybody does, but I do.
Yeah, and if it's not like, hey, I need to know this immediately,
No.
email, text, just because we get so many calls at shift change times and stuff that this actually, you guys are like, hey, they're not answering it. If we get more than 2 calls at once,
It goes straight to voicemail.
It goes straight to voicemail, and it kind of blocks you out. And there's been other times where we don't get the number registered to the phone. It won't even show up as a missed call because too many people are calling at once. So if it's a clock-in thing, we'll take care of it as long as it's done by the end of your shift. If you're running late, that's a good one. Get in touch with us as best you can. I know stuff happens with vehicles and accidents, weather. Just try to be as proactive on that stuff as you can. So to make Sergeant Patton's life a little easier, and honestly, anybody that's in charge of this thing is pretty well glued to it. So just have some patience.
So, other than that, I don't think I really have anything else. Patton, thank you for joining us.
Congratulations.
Congratulations again.
Thanks again.
You deserve that. At least
He's an
that.
avid podcast watcher
He
as well.
is.
So
He
we
likes
felt-
to torture us while he watches.
If you guys enjoy seeing Meet
The
Your
day is never
Supervisor, if you guys enjoy seeing your supervisor, let us know. We'll continue to have Meet the Supervisor or Meet this person. We try to get everybody acquainted with all of the heavy hitters here. That way you guys can put a face to the name. I can't tell you how many times lately I've been out in the field more just because I've been forcing myself to, because everybody likes seeing a supervisor or seeing another Titan employee. Usually, not everybody. So, the good ones do. But I just lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. It's kind of disheartening when they're like, hey, I finally put a face to the name. We've been having
Phone conversations.
Yeah, we've been having
emails
conversations
for
for
weeks.
months, weeks, and we've never seen you. I try to pop into all the new hire classes. This thing just does not stop going on.
I would say 5. I think that's 6 now. So kind of get to some of the comments that you got here. Beatty, who is a faithful watcher,
Hi,
even though
buddy.
I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be busy.
That's a government gig. He's got some down.
do what he wants.
Hurry up and wait.
Says that I remember him as my FTO on patrol. So Patton's been around for a little bit for the help out with that.
There was a point in time when I FTO'd pretty much everybody on patrol.
Yeah, you were kind of the
I was going to say he was the
designated
go-to guy
FTO
for that.
Yeah. Guess I have a knack for teaching.
Let's see. Mr. Buckman says he got to meet Nathaniel Yates today.
Oh boy, one of my favorite trespassers out on troops.
All right. Gary says congratulations. So does Billy. Let's see. Michael says whenever someone says I need this right now, 50 other people say the exact same thing. So please be patient. And that's 100% correct.
That's a good point.
When there's one person answering one phone and 50 people trying to call at the same time, give us a little bit of patience and grace on that.
Well, and it's not like he's just sitting there.
Like what he's doing right now.
Yeah, it's not like he's just sitting there doing nothing. He's monitoring our scheduling system. He's handling disciplines and helping me with investigations and stuff like that.
Talking with clients, another
Yes.
big one.
Yes. So this person does not know how to. Oh my God.
Billy says McFarland losing train of thought would never happen.
It's because I got this thing.
Beatty says he's off duty. Started at 0400 this morning. All right. Likely story. That's exactly it. Likely story. But other than that, that's really all I got. Thank you so much for joining us and just having a conversation with us.
Thanks for having me, big fan.
Oh, we've been kind of waiting for this one, so this was probably the best time to do it. Was once you got that promotion, is have you on, because I know the first time that I saw it, that you told me who you were on chat, and I'm not going to say who you are to keep that alone, because that's a.
I'm sure they can figure it out.
I would think so. At least some of the people paying attention would.
Meow.
But to have you on here is an awesome thing, especially with all the good you've done and all the help you provide, not just to us, but to the officers in the field. And so having you on here is just a wonderful thing, being able to get to. So those who don't know, and if you've never met him in person, you will soon. Everybody gets
Maybe.
their chance with him.
If we release.
Yeah, we gotta let him. We gotta let him out of here first.
I release you. Your coffee smells really good, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the one I.
If anybody ever wants to give Sergeant Patton a gift for all his hard work,
Coffee is the way to
he
go.
is a 2 pot a day. Is it 2 pots a day?
I've cut it down to
Oh,
1.
1 pot a day.
Oh, that's scary.
Does your wife watch this? Is she
No, but I
concerned
might
with
send
you?
her this episode.
Yeah, I think Lieutenant Shaughnessy sent his out to some buddies and stuff because we got some good views. On that
And
one, so.
he's one of these guys that we got to be careful with. He is when it comes to coffee, we have a rule now for Sergeant Patton here.
the Death Wish.
There's a Death Wish coffee, and then me and him go partnered in on Black Rifle coffee, and he's allowed to have the Black Rifle coffee, but he is no longer allowed to drink the Death Wish because
He was vibrating.
Normally does 2 pots, and 2 pots on Death Wish. He was. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie, but Hoodwinked, that squirrel, when he drank the coffee, that was him. He was everywhere.
All right, to set the record straight, though, it was 3 cups of Death Wish.
Oh boy.
Prior to that was 1 pot of Black Rifle.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
dude.
no,
That's
no.
like over 1,000 milligrams of caffeine.
Oh yeah, I think the Black Rifle has. I think it's 100. I could be wrong on this, but I think it's 100 per cup, and I think Death Wish is 150 or 175 or something like that.
Normal cup of coffee is 80 milligrams
Yeah.
for anybody that's curious.
And I think Black Rifle, the one that we get, is just over that, and then I think Death Wish is double what the normal is.
Yeah,
It's about 200, 250, give or take per cup.
Okay, that's even worse than I thought it was. So you are again no longer allowed to drink that.
For as long as you keep me in here, you can't stop me. Do you want me to be productive or not?
I had a client meeting and I had some lunch and it wasn't like a heavy lunch, but for some reason I got back, I was super tired and I had to steal one of the account managers, I won't say name, that has those
They're
what are they
energy
called?
packets.
Energy
It's the same
packets.
things I
Got me
have.
back going. I'm starting to get tired again. I had a rough sleep night, night of sleep, so it's starting to catch up with me. So I apologize, but that's why I'm a little scatterbrained or foggy brained.
Other than that, I think that's all we got there. Weather for this week looks like it's going to be
All over the place.
all over the places for sure. 47 tomorrow, 60s Wednesday, Thursday, 30s and Friday, Saturday. Rain at some point supposedly this week, Wednesday or Thursday. Good Lord. It's going to be all kinds of up and down on the weather. So dress warm, dress for the weather, guys. Keep that in mind. Stay hydrated. That really helps with that stuff. Keeps you on your toes.
6 times.
But other than that, I think we're going to call it. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Patton, again, thank you so much for joining us. And
Congratulations.
taking the time out of your day for
you
this.
again.
Thanks for coming in.
But we're going to call it, guys. So appreciate it so much. We will catch you guys on the next one. Until then, stay safe.